Hey guys, one much on the video on the Inside Spurs channel. Hope you're well. Hope you're looking after yourself on this Tuesday now afternoon. Whatever you're up to today, look after yourself. It's pretty miserable out there, so take care of yourself. Got a really intriguing video today, actually. We have an update on Lloris and the Newcastle attraction, we'll call it. Also, we have a really fascinating story and link to Illia Zabarnyi. You may not know who he is, and I'll tell you about him. Don't worry, I promise. Just want to say, if you're new, do subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. I just want to say as well, thank you for everyone that has subscribed and comments and likes, everything like that. Really helps the channel grow, and I really like interacting with all of you. I think I learn as well as you might learn from me, which is nice. I'm not that smart, so don't take too much from me. Anyway, let's talk. Let's talk Illia. So it came from Ryan Taylor, who put out that Fabio Paratici wanted to sign Bournemouth's Illia Zabarnyi from Dynamo Kiev. Data analytics suggested he was a player of huge potential. Spurs rate him very highly, and his Premier League numbers are now flagging up on several defensive algorithms. I'll fly on the wall to know what those algorithms are. I'd love to know. But I was having a look at, Illia, or Zabarnyi, however you want to go about it. I was wondering when he was bought, and how much it was for. And I looked and it said that January 31st, 2023. So we come up to a year whilst he's been at Bournemouth. He's bought for just over 20 million euros. So, decent amount of money when you think of a team like Bournemouth, who, as much as they have, I think, new owners now and they can spend a bit more, they're not exactly your biggest spenders, right? So let's have a look at Zabarnyi. So, Ukraine international, centre-half, right-footed centre-half. Contract expires in the summer of 2028. But not only that, but this season, he has played in 18 different games. He's logged just over 1,600 minutes for Bournemouth this season. So played a ton of football through the Premier League and the EFL Cup, the League Cup, the Carling Cup, the Capital One Cup, whatever you want to call it. He's played a lot of football this year, and didn't have it to hand. I'm just going to quickly bring up the Premier League table so we can kind of have an idea as to where Bournemouth are. So they had a big win last weekend against Manchester United, but also I would say that they've had a really good, last month, Bournemouth. Let's have a look. So they are sitting at the moment 14th, right? Whereas everyone kind of predicted they're going down. When we played them earlier in the season, when we beat them 2-0, they hadn't won a game, or I think even picked up a point by that point. But sitting in 14th, they're sitting 10 points clear of relegation already, which is a really good achievement for them. Now, Bournemouth recently have had a real upturn of form, and the fact they're sitting 14th, they're actually, tell a lie, this is going to really surprise you, right? They're actually level on points with 11th, which is Brentford. They're actually level on points with Chelsea and Wolves. So fair play to them, and they've won 4 of the last 5 with a draw in there, so they're really in form. When we look at Everton have won 4, drawn and lost 1. Arsenal have won 4, lost 1. Liverpool won 4, drawn 1. Same with Villa. So they're actually their joint form in terms of their form. They're joint top in terms of the most informed teams in the league. So Bournemouth had a crack in the last few games. He's had a massive part to play with that. The fact that Paratici wanted him, we probably should listen to Paratici a little bit more. I think a lot of people don't like Paratici because obviously what happened at Juventus, but when we actually look at it, he's done a pretty damn good job at Spurs. Vicario, Udogie being one of the 2 main ones of this part of the year. Pedro Porro, that's another big one that he's added into that list. Christian Romero, you name it, he's brought in loads. I'm not going to go through them all. He's actually had a good job at Spurs, and the fact that he's brought this up, it's attracted onto the algorithms that this is a guy that could really do well at Spurs. Potentially something we go back in for. Now, on Illia, the fact is he was bought for, let's say, £20 million, right? You're going to want to be, if you're Bournemouth, you're probably expecting double that. The fact they don't want to lose Lloyd Kelly, who's going to be going out on a free next summer, they're not going to want to move on from the other centre-half, who they might be losing anyway. So, the 10 points clear. They're in a good spot right now. They're bang in form. I think they've got Luton at home this weekend. If you get another win there, you might even sit there and go, Bournemouth might actually be safe already. And they might look at it and go, if we had a really good January transfer window, we might kick on to top half of the table. And that's why maybe they don't want to move on from a Lloyd Kelly in January, even though they're losing him for free in the summer. But maybe that's why they don't want to lose Illia Zabarnyi as well, because Not only that, they also don't want to lose a centre-half ahead of the summer where they're losing the other centre-half, who's the main two, obviously other than Senesi or Sensei. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, excuse me for that one. But there's a centre-half that they got from the Eredivisie. I don't know, they're going to want about 40-odd million, I reckon, for Zabarnyi, just off the top of my head. That's just me thinking, brainstorming. I just think if you're going to get either centre-half from Bournemouth, it will be Lloyd Kelly. It won't be Zabarnyi. But stranger things have happened. Let's talk Hugo. Club captain in a weird way still, I guess you could say. But the man that used to be the captain for a very long time at Spurs. It came from a Sport Witness who said from L'Equipe, the French publication, that said that L'Equipe believes the player could be tempted to join Newcastle next month. A short-term deal could be a route back into playing football and provide experienced option for Newcastle United. I think they do need to get someone in for a short-term deal with the fact that Pope's out for 5 months. He's not going to be back to the end of the season. Obviously, he has a race against time to get fit for the summer competition. I thought they might go De Gea personally, because the fact he's on a free, you don't have to deal with any clubs. You just have to deal with De Gea and say, let's get you in. I think you can even get him now because he's on a free, even though it's not in the transfer window. I think. Don't hold me to that, but I think. But if there is Lloris, Premier League experience, Newcastle don't play as much football out from the back as Spurs would like to do. So, as a shot stopper, I still think Lloris has got it, to be fair. Has leadership. I would say he has a good chance to beat the Bravka out of that number one position. Do you know what? I slept on it last night, and I didn't sleep thinking about you at the race. I promise. I know what you're thinking. But I did think about it. I thought, actually, he'd probably be better off going to Newcastle. Yes, maybe it's only for 6 months. But if you can go to Newcastle, right? Say the Bravka has a bit of a stinker. If he goes to Newcastle, plays fairly well, you might look at it and go, actually, hang on. As an external club, you might look at it and go, I tell you what, but he still looks like he's got it for another few years. Why don't we try and get him in for a couple of years? Maybe it's a Ligue 1 side. Maybe it's a Serie A side. Rui Patricio went to Roma. He's doing quite well. There's no reason why Lloris couldn't go to a Serie A team and do well. I always thought a Saudi team would come in for him. He's a French captain. He's won a World Cup. He's played top football for a long, long time. It screams Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. The fact they don't have many keepers as well, I think, plays into that. But it could be that thing where he might only get a few months of gameplay, right? But if he gets enough, shows out, his market increases a lot. Whereas he ended his tenure as the Spurs number one in a pretty bleak fashion. I think people overanalyze that Newcastle game. It wasn't a great season as a whole. It wasn't all down to Lloris. He had injuries that season. It was just a difficult one for all of the players. It wasn't just him that wasn't very good. There was a lot of players that weren't very good last season. But I think this could be a really smart move. And I came around to it a lot more. I thought he wouldn't do it. Why would he do it? And I thought, actually, he could beat the Bravka out. If he beats the Bravka out, this could be the ticket that allows him to explore more of the market, because they'll go, actually, Lloris has still got it. He's still pretty decent. Let's bring him in for a year. Let's bring him in for a couple of years before he maybe gets an MLS or a Saudi move where he just cashes in for the last few years, maybe. I don't know. Hugo's a different cat, maybe. You're never too sure on it. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section below your thoughts and opinions about Illia Zabarnyi, as well as the Hugo Lloris potential move to Newcastle. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the bell notification for more, because we do have more videos to come, I promise. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.